Steve Jobs once described the computer as a bicycle for our minds. But in today's world, with all the work people do on computers, all the emails and Slack messages and pitch decks and proposals people have to cycle through, a bike doesn't really cut it. We need more of a car for our minds. Maybe even a self-driving one. Yeah, we're talking about AI. It's been nearly 2 years since OpenAI rolled out ChatGPT, which has left plenty of time for desk jockeys to figure out how generative AI tools can help to speed up their workflows, like cars sped up commutes. So, during the most recent Digiday Publishing Summit in Key Biscayne, Florida, I figured I'd ask some of the publishing executives in attendance to what extent they're incorporating generative AI tools into their own workflows.
I would say we're still in early exploratory phase, and certainly I am as well. I like Mid-Journey for a good party trick at this point more than anything else.
Personally, I use some generative tools. I use it to check my emails. I use it to transcribe some of my meetings. But professionally, we've been asked not to use generative tools because we don't have a policy yet on which tools should be used and when. So the answer to that is no, we're not using those tools now because we've been asked not to.
Okay, so like actual self-driving cars, AI-based workflows aren't exactly street legal everywhere. And also like actual self-driving cars. Right now, execs aren't so much having AI take the wheel of their workflows, so much as putting some of their processes into cruise control.
But I think the way I tend to be thinking about it and using it more is like, how can this accelerate a task that I don't necessarily need to be like using a bunch of brain power on?
I definitely use AI, like I can just like write an email, bang it out, and then it definitely helps you with the language. So like I think everyone on my team will be like, oh, Jamie's having AI write her emails. It's like, it's not writing the email, it's helping me be more eloquent in the way I communicate.
I am playing around with just research. And so seeing what it comes back with. I tried doing a PowerPoint presentation. It wasn't bad, but then I had to like scratch it up again. So I'm not quite there yet, but I think for early research, it's been really useful to just hoover up data for me, basically.
Well, I use it in Outlook. I use it in Slack. There's certain ways that it's already built into pre-existing platforms that we use on a day-to-day basis, just to see how I should start my day or any emails that are pressing. So I use it in that way. When it comes to actual reporting, again, as I said before, I'm using it to do background research on my sources, just to look at particular topics and dig in with a bit more granularity. And so for me, I use it more as a time save than to actually use it to write an article, which I think we'll see more of as we move forward.
So it's funny you mentioned the pitch decks. We have explored the idea of using Gen AI to sort of improve our tool. We have a pitch deck tool, so to sort of improve that feature for people.
Beyond basic personal task management, some media companies are also incorporating generative AI tools into their team level workflows.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of my work, I work with a people team, and so we are using it in ways in terms of just better synthesizing of data, whether it's demographic data, analyzing recruitment data and our candidate pools, or thinking about different ways to, streamline processes, particularly like support rooms. So people needing aspects to benefits or certain aspects that we couldn't, you're navigating on an intranet. I think AI is allowing us to kind of respond to employees in that sense. I also think I've seen it in team meetings and being able to say, like, I can translate, I can do closed captioning. So I think we're trying to utilize those tools for more greater accessibility for people who need those types of additional tools.
Generative AI, I think, in our workflows, that has become increasingly important. So building things into our CMS that can sort of help our editors write little summaries. Business Insider's known for our bullets, so how can we incorporate something like that into our bullets? I think even suggesting, things that we're exploring, suggesting tagging, things like that. I think that's where Gen AI can really come in handy for publishers.
And generative AI tools will probably only become more handy for media companies. But for that, it'll help if publishing executives get more hands-on with these tools, whether that's messing with Mid-Journey or enlisting LLMs to help write emails.
It's just about like completion of the task. I also think it's really interesting to continually play around with like different writing assistants, because I think prompt engineering and knowing how to write a good prompt is going to become like one of the most critical skills for a lot of folks in their day-to-day. And so making sure that I'm continually writing prompts and refining them and trying to get better outputs, even if I don't end up using it in my day-to-day workflow, I think is just an important skill and muscle that I'm trying to develop and build.